Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Today, I'll be sitting down for a one-to-one chat with Martin Gauss, the CEO of airBaltic. Now, if you're fans of simple flying, you'll know that we're big fans of airBaltic. They are the world's first all-Airbus A220 airline, and they've survived very well through COVID. Actually, they're looking to resuming normal flying, but of course, the disruption in Ukraine has put a bit of a damper on the summer 2022 plans. So we'll definitely be speaking to Martin about that. We'll be looking at forward bookings where people want to fly from the Baltics this summer, as well as their expansion into new markets, including setting up a new base in Finland. airBaltic has also been leasing out some of its A220s on a wet lease basis, for example, to Eurowings and SAS. We'll be talking about what's driving that demand for the Airbus A220 and whether they think any more airlines will be demanding some of their fleet, and indeed whether they can afford to give them away. Most interestingly, though, Martin is going to tell us about airBaltic's launch of 10,000 non-fungible tokens. Now, if you don't really know what these are, then you're in good company because neither do I, but we're going to find out today. They're called the Planies, and it's the second time that airBaltic has launched NFTs. They've had a year of learning how these things work, and they sound really interesting, very exciting. So we're going to find out some more. Now, let's welcome Mr. Gauss to our interview today. Okay, Martin, it's great to have you back with Simple Flying. It's not been that long since we've spoken, but my goodness, haven't things changed?
Yes. Unfortunately, if we talk about the war in the Ukraine, things have changed. But still, on the other side, we're going into spring and summer. So we also see that passengers returning to fly and bookings are going up.
That's really good to hear, but it does feel a little bit like when one door opens, another one has slammed shut. You guys were coming strongly out of the pandemic, and now this disruption. Can you just give us a little bit of color on how the situation is affecting your recovery right now?
It is affecting us in this form that we are not serving Ukraine and Russian market. That's a total of 9% of our volume. But we have already taken step to offset it with, we have put 2 more planes in ASIM wet lease out. So that's done already. We opened a new route. We took the Kiev aircraft and it's serving Hamburg now. And we are adding capacity. Our summer schedule starts this Sunday. So therefore, all of our aircraft are flying significant more. The moment we can serve Ukraine again, we will immediately go back. So for that, we have the capacity with the night stops, and we would open all 3 destinations, Odessa, Lviv, and Kiev, on the first day when we are able to fly back there. So that's the situation. The bookings are coming in. Of course, now we have even a sales campaign going on again. While in the first days, we of course could not, so we stopped all the channels, the TikTok and all of that. But now we need to continue serving our passengers who are all over Europe and want to fly and book their holidays. So we are doing this. At the same time, we are standing very strong behind Ukraine with everything we can do. Being closer there, having employees from Ukraine here is for us a bit different, but we still on the track out of the COVID crisis.
That's really good to hear. And in terms of your bookings for the summer, what are you seeing most demand for? Where do airBaltic's passengers want to go this year?
It's the same than all the other years. It's southern destinations, so warm water destinations. So we see a pickup of all of these destinations. While today we still have the Tenerife and the Dubai flights being full because it's the warm weather there at the moment. We see now, and Sunday, as I said, the bookings are coming in now for all warm water destinations. We have 92 routes this year, so that's quite a lot. And all the destinations we used to have for the summer in the Mediterranean area are back. And the bookings, of course, are coming in. Still, we do not see the same behavior as in 2019, but I think that's the same with all airlines. We have more capacity now than we had last year. Bookings are up at the moment this week 350% compared to last year.
Wow.
So that's significant still. I think it would be even a bit higher if we would not have had the war, because we see that there is a certain change in behavior of the passengers where they book shorter term still. That means for the peak summer months, we expect bookings to come in later than usual, but they are coming in because the demand is there for people to travel. Just some are a bit hesitant at the moment to book, but still compared to last year, a significant up.
Well, that's really good news, and understandable that people want to wait and see how things play out before they commit to their booking. But let's hope those forward bookings do start to bolster soon. In terms of your routes, you mentioned Dubai. Now, are you having to fly a couple of sort of odd flight paths to get to some of these sort of southeastern destinations from you? I know I looked at the map and kind of Georgia, Israel, potentially Cyprus would all cross closed airspace. Can you just give me some color on how that's affecting things?
Yeah, we have for many destinations to fly different routings, and the flight time changes on individual flights between 10 and 50 minutes. So the longest one is the Dubai-Riga sector coming back. The good thing is we have the right aircraft. The Airbus A220-300 is an aircraft which can fly very long, but of course we have higher fuel costs and longer flight times. We had to adjust flight times now in our network to connect to Riga hub. So that was something where some of the flight times changed significant. And we gave up two destinations which we wanted to serve again this summer, which is Yerevan and Baku, just because it didn't make sense. But the rest we are flying and we are avoiding the airspace as everybody else does. And it's a longer flight time. It's higher cost, obviously, but we are still serving these destinations as the demand is there.
And is that higher cost being reflected in the fares that are on offer, or are you managing to kind of keep a lid on the fares that you're charging your passengers?
Well, as we are not having a dedicated fuel surcharge, it's in our pricing always the fuel is an element of doing the pricing, and the pricing is defined by the market. So we are not able to say, okay, we are charging more while the rest of the market is not. So if in general prices would go up, of course, we would be able to price differently. But as long as the prices are as they are, we will not see a change here. You cannot, as an airline, single raise the price and then think you will not lose the market. Therefore, the higher fuel cost, our best offset against it is the Airbus A220-300, because we have 25% less fuel burn this year than we had the years before when we were using different aircraft. So that's the only thing where we have savings. But overall, of course, the higher cost of the fuel price hit us as anybody else, unless you are hedged. Yeah, some have hedging, but the hedging runs out sooner or later, and therefore the higher fuel costs are affecting the cost base of all airlines. On top of it, emission trading systems hitting the European airlines. On top of it, reroutings hitting us. On top of it, restrictions coming. So there's a lot of negativity, but at the end of the day, we are still coming out of the COVID crisis after these 2 years. And I think as an industry, we see now that we are going out of this crisis. We've gone through so much in the last 2 years that we will also now do this final step. I'm pretty sure this industry is very resilient, and we are back, and we're going to go back as an industry. And we will carry more passengers than ever before in a few years from now. And then we will look back and say we did well going out of this crisis.
That's really good to hear. And a 25% reduction is excellent over, just the other aircraft that you phased out during the pandemic. And, I think some other airlines have cottoned on to the mighty A220. We had a look at the statistics yesterday, and next month, April, there will be 20,000 flights by the A220 worldwide, which is the most there has ever been, almost 3,000 more than March. And in fact, it's you guys that have added the most capacity between March and April. Your total operations up 32% from month to month. Can you just tell me a little bit about the strategy for your kind of rapid rebuilding of the summer network?
Yeah, we have, first of all, there's the summer schedule coming, which traditionally brings back all the summer destinations. And we're all looking forward to it, because then everything we have is in the air, because the demand is there. We see this in the bookings. We are the world's largest A220-300 operator, and we're very proud of it, because we reshuffled in the crisis the fleet plan to have only the Airbus flying for us. And if you talk about 20,000 flights, we do a big portion of that globally. We're very happy with the aircraft, longest A220-300 operator now in the world, and carried millions of passengers on it. The aircraft is really good. And the upgrading on the routes now for the summer is the normal summer schedule, where we planned to do that already last year, and now we're executing it. There's minor adjustments now due to the war in the Ukraine, but these minor adjustments are already now reflected in the current schedule. From the today's point of view, we're not changing that. So we will be going with that schedule forward.
Really good news. And I've seen you're opening a new base in southern Finland this year. Why did you pick that location?
We always said in our long-term business plan, which takes us to 50 airplanes in 2025, we would see 40 aircraft for the Baltics, and then we would step out of the Baltics and open a new base. In the pandemic, we adjusted that plan and said, we first of all, we took aircraft in earlier because we phased out old aircraft, and we saw with the demand in the Baltic states currently not where it used to be. Okay, then let's start that earlier. We identified 6 airports for potential bases, and the one we picked was Tampere, where the first aircraft will be based as of May. And here we serve with that aircraft, and that may be different to what other carriers, especially our low-cost competitors, would do. That aircraft is based in Tampere and will be serving Frankfurt and Munich, which are Lufthansa main hubs, and Copenhagen and Oslo, which are hubs of SAS. Both of these airlines are partner airlines, either in Interline or co-chair with us. And then the aircraft will also fly on top of it, Rodos and Malaga. So we are not serving too many destinations, as normally you do when you base an aircraft somewhere. We are serving frequency to connecting hubs. And with that, we ensure, as we do in the Baltics, rather a connectivity than having a leisure product. And therefore, the yields we're expecting, the kind of, we have the hybrid service, business class, and an ultra low cost economy in the back. With that same product, which we have in the Baltics, we're opening Tampere base. There's in addition one flight, which is the Riga-Tampere aircraft, which is connecting to the hub, but that is not done by the aircraft in Tampere. And why we did it now, as I said earlier, that we saw now the chance to do it, and Tampere was the best fit. They have a catchment area of nearly 1 million people.
Wow.
Finnair has given up to serve Tampere. There's no flying anymore. So it's the second largest city in Finland. It's the most beloved city in Finland. And we are very, very welcome there. And the opening of our route comes together with the opening of the Ice Hockey World Championship. And,
oh, wow.
and a funny one, we did not do anything about that. The first match is Latvia against the USA in Tampere.
Oh.
So very, very interesting opening of that base. We have experience in doing a base where we only fly point to point, and people do not see that because airBaltic started in Riga with a hub and spoke. But then we opened Vilnius and Tallinn. And in Tallinn, we have 14 point-to-point routes today, which are not connected to any hub. So we have an experience of placing an aircraft somewhere and then letting this aircraft, there's 2 aircraft, letting this aircraft fly point to point. So in Tampere, being very close to the Nordic area where we are, we're just now continuing that. And you will see in the future when we open a new base or when we add aircraft, we will do it exactly with the same approach.
Great. Thank you so much for that information. And you mentioned your partners that you're connecting with this base in Tampere. Eurowings, of course, is a Lufthansa Group airline, and so is SAS is another one and they're both leasing capacity from you. They're wet leasing some of your A220s. I just wondered if there was more demand for A220 wet leasing right now, and what you think is driving that.
There's a very significant demand for A220 aircraft, especially the 300 version. So I guess if we would try, we could lease out the whole of our fleet this year. Because wow. we are in the so we had earmarked up to 15 aircraft depending on what the summer would develop, which we could have given out. We gave out 11 now, and that's it. We can't give out more. But the aircraft and the demand is not only coming from Europe. We have global demand for the aircraft and working now on some of the winter leads in different continents. The reason is the aircraft is really performing well if it is about the economics, and it has 149 seats, which means the aircraft is usable if the route is not yet a route where you need a 220-seater, so 737-800 or an A220 or an A321. And I guess that a lot of the carriers now are looking for lift, which is 150 seats, but having no restrictions on the passenger comfort. Because any other aircraft, which is or the 737-800s, comes also with smaller cabin or different range. And therefore, the only aircraft available currently in the market is that aircraft. And then it comes with a very, very positive economics on the environment, on the noise, and on the fuel flow. And so I think it plays a big role today, whoever the airline is who takes the aircraft from us, they also have to pay for the fuel. So if they take in an A220-300 into their current portfolio, they have a significant reduction in fuel flow and in fuel cost, rather than using either their own larger equipment or another wet lease aircraft, which also uses older technology. So therefore, I think the A220, because of the economics and because of its size, sees at the moment such a demand. And there's not so many, and whatever is produced goes to an operator which has ordered the aircraft years ago. We get another 7 this year.
Wow.
So it looks like that aircraft was the right choice while we did it 10 years ago. Yeah? We took a decision 10 years ago, got it in 2016, but now see the benefits of it. Took a while, but it was a very good decision at the time.
Definitely. Your crystal ball must have been functioning extremely well that day. A very in-demand aircraft. So I want to get on to what I know you really want to talk to me about, which is a launch of an incredible 10,000 NFTs. For those who are about as well informed as I am, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. To be honest, Martin, I still don't really understand, but can you treat me like an idiot and just explain slowly what these things are?
Yeah, so I have a printout of one of them here.
Okay.
So that's how the prototype looks. But all of them will be unique, 10,000 different unique ones, different colors. They will all look the same, more or less. And the collection will be non-fungible tokens, which means they are minted on the blockchain, and they will be tradable, like collector's cards. Oh. But they come with so people are trading them, and there's the rarer ones and not so rare ones. So people have fun with it. There will be onboard comics with us. They will be using them in our advertising. But what it really does, and what we are doing with it long term, is that our frequent flyer program is issuing points, miles for the flights. Which, if you fly on an airBaltic flight and you're a member of our frequent flyer club, airBaltic Club, you're getting per euro spent. If you have an economy ticket, 1 point. And if you're holding one of these NFTs, so once they're out and you're holding one, you get airdropped. You get these points automatically as a reward of holding it. So there is an incentive to have that, because you're gonna collect by owning it. You're gonna collect these points. And why are we doing this? Because we want, and we're working on the tokenization of the frequent flyer points, which means the blockchain technology is enabling you to do a lot of things. And what we are looking at, and this is the way towards it, is instead of the points, still have the points, but issuing them as a token, which gives you lots of advantages, and at the very end, significant cost savings. And also, because there's always the issue about energy, also energy savings, because if you don't do all the administration about the points as it is today, you of course having significant less costs by issuing tokens. They are tradable and so on. So that's the long-term approach, but initially we will bring the planies, as they are called, as an NFT collectible, not only for the airBaltic club holder, anybody, also somebody completely outside of the continent where we fly would hold it. If you hold it, you're getting airBaltic club points, which you can then trade for a flight, for a merch, for all kinds of things. So it's like something valuable you get by owning it. And of course, the NFT itself, normally when it is something people want to have, goes up in value. That is what is happening on the NFT market. But also what is nice, there's the art, and I have to show it again. There is an art also behind it, because it's unique. You are the owner of that, and you can do with it what you want. You could open a coffee shop if you own this one, because you're the owner with all the rights, and you can say, this is going to be the brand for my coffee shop. So it's a piece of art. It's coming out from airBaltic, and it will be, at the end of the day, leading our way into a tokenization on the blockchain of our frequent flyer program.
That's so interesting. And tell me a little bit about the planies. You know, who designed those, and how did you come up with the idea of these really fun cartoon airBaltic planes?
The idea goes back to 2014, when we, as the first airline in the world, accepted Bitcoin as a form of payment. Well before anybody knew what Bitcoin was in the industry. We still today take several cryptocurrencies as form of payment. That is something we have a lot of experience with. And then nearly a year ago now, we issued the first NFT collection in airBaltic, which is traded today on OpenSea, where we just show the cities which are featured in Latvia on our aircraft. in form of a marketing. It's a card, it's a collectible where you have no utility today apart from having marketing information about that city. But people bought it, and it's still being bought, but there's no utility behind it. But we gathered, we got a lot of experience about house, and then we started the process about what are we, what do we do? And the planey will be your travel companion. The planey will be comic. The planey will be something people will identify themselves with, and they own it. It is something we have now found out. There's many collections in the world, NFT collections, where people are paying significant prices to own one of these. For airBaltic, it is if you own one, you will collect points, airBaltic points. If you are a frequent flyer on us, then of course immediately that will give you a benefit leading you to flights. But there will also be other benefits. We will have upgrades. We will have all kinds of things airlines can give to their loyal customers. While if you're not a customer, again, you have a piece of art where these points which you get, we want to make them tradable, which means one frequent flyer can give his points to the other frequent flyer in a very simplified way. Design idea was born in-house. We had the first designs by some international designers, but today it's in-house designers which are doing this and an agency together, because it's quite a work to get the 10,000 different ones with different trades. And we will reveal every week now one. So from the 10,000 every week until we start trading them or minting them, we will reveal one as a sneak peek so that we show people what is coming. And it is something I have to say in this time, which brings fun and light into it. Yeah, it's also technology. It's high technology there. It's going to the Web 3.0. We have this in-house. We built in-house knowledge, so all of it will pay off over the years to come, because we are working in a space which is really coming. And if you follow what kind of investments today are taken in the Web 3 field, huge investment rounds there for companies which are working in that space. We in airBaltic will on that way also gain experience, and let's see where it leads to. We combine the fun part, the cartoon artwork, with the frequent flyer program, but also with a very clear focus on the technology going forward.
So interesting. And, I think the one thing we need right now is an injection of fun back into aviation. It's been such a serious industry for the last few years. And for you guys at home, if you want to check out the Planies, there is a Twitter channel that I'm already following at Planies NFT, Planies NFT. I guess that's where you'll be showcasing your releases as they come out. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to use Planies, not airBaltic, Planies NFT on Twitter. That's the main channel for NFTs. There will be a website going live before, also with video education on how you can get it. And then, of course, we'll make announcements about how you can get one. We ideally see that happening at the beginning of May, but the exact date will come. But until then, everything will be on Twitter. That is the only channel where we will be talking about it. That is the NFT space, is a Twitter space.
That's fantastic. And just to close that off, do you have any idea of the sort of level of investment each NFT is going to require?
Yeah, actually, that is the nice thing about it. It's an in-house work we do. So from an investment point of view, it's the work and the creativity of our people. The actual process of issuing them is not complicated, as we have done everything already with our existing city collection, which is there on OpenSea, which is one of the platforms where you can trade on. So what we're doing now with the creation of the 10,000 pieces of artwork, once they are created and minted and they will be sold, it's actually going to be a profitable business from day one on, because we will not have invested as much as we will gain. But it's not so much of gaining now money, because that money will be reinvested into the holders of the NFT, because we will be issuing to them kind of a dividend all the time, because they will get points, and they will get significant points. So holding an NFT might be worth more than buying the ticket if you compare the points you can get for holding it. And holding it longer will give you more points. And then let's see, we have not talked about everything we're going to do. We will talk about it in the roadmap on the way, as it is in the NFT space. But it will be a profit on day one once we issue this, as it has been with the city collection.
That's exciting. And for me, if I want one of these Planies, how much am I going to have to pay?
We haven't revealed it yet, but I think
Okay.
we will make it very affordable because we will have a white list. So initially our staff, of course, gets a preference. They can buy it if they want. Then we will have a white list where you can try to get onto the white list. This will be for our frequent flyers mainly, but also everybody else can try to get on. There will be raffles before. And then at the very end, there will be the public minting, where the price will be very affordable. It will be at the lowest end of what you see in the space at the moment, because we want to have that utility out there to go forward and work with that, and then with our holders and with our frequent flyer program to go to tokenization, which is a long path, but you cannot do it by just deciding I do it. You have to gain the different experience on the way. And that's what we're doing. And I'm very proud of the team in-house who has that capability of doing it. Shows again that airBaltic is from a technology point, very advanced. And a complete different topic today. I walked back from one of our hangars where we had an aircraft, which I had to visit. And on the way back, I saw on the car park, the first line of electric charging stations, because we have taken decision to make all cars electric. It was so impressive. I tweeted it on my Twitter. Because it's a snapshot with a gravel car park. It's not a good picture, but it really got me walking from the hangar to the office and seeing all these charging stations, and they are airBaltic's electric cars there. So this really makes me proud, because again, we took a step here, a decision, and it's executed. And you know that it's always these steps you have to take to go further. And I'm very happy that I run an organization which is coming up with ideas all the time.
It's always very impressive, and I always enjoy talking to you because you are so advanced and there are so many kind of out there ideas that you're very happy to embrace. And it's interesting you've kind of landed on this topic of sustainability. I know you guys are one of the greenest airlines in the world with your very young fleet of very efficient aircraft. And I know you recently signed quite a big SAF deal. Do you want to talk about, just to kind of finish off our interview, because you've been very generous with your time, do you want to just talk about what your focus for sustainability is over the next sort of 12 to 18 months?
So the focus is very clear that we want to become carbon neutral, net zero, as we agreed as an industry, and we will not use any excuse as an industry to delay that, which means we have to renew the fleets. That's all of us. We did that part already. We fly today the most modern aircraft, but it doesn't stop here. We are looking at what is coming next, as the industry does. In between, we have to go for sustainable aviation fuel, which we do, and we keep increasing the amounts we take as it is available. But then there's many other options which we are looking into because it's significant cost savings there. And we see nearly every day now highlights of competitors or other airline players, what they are doing on sustainability. And airBaltic is very good at looking at what somebody does and then learning and copying if it fits to us. I don't mind if somebody comes with very smart ideas on sustainability. If we can implement it, we do it. Overall target is to do whatever is feasible. We have to go back to profit because we can only long-term survive if we are profitable. So we have to be careful. But the overall target to reach carbon neutrality as an industry, we do. And the key element now, I would say, is to renew all the fleets in the world to more efficient aircraft. That part airBaltic has done. So we can go ahead now and see what with that aircraft we can do on top. And then it doesn't stop with the aircraft. It is airspace, it's approaches, it's electric cars. And it's we're building a hangar, the largest hangar in the Baltics for maintenance, which will be built on 2 days knowledge about sustainability. So all of the things coming. And if we talk about the NFT again, about the plane, and I have to show it again because it is so beautiful, then there's a lot of people who say this consumes a lot of energy. I think we will also over the years see that working in that space in the blockchain technology will be saving a lot of energy. And with that, it will be much, much better than going for the old-fashioned way of how you book a ticket. Yeah, but without going forward and testing it, we will not get there. So I do see all these discussions, but I have to say the same when we look at Tesla, when they started, how much criticism was there about would they fly or not, and look at what they do now. I think we have to go ahead and we have to work on blockchain technology in our industry, go forward and deliver then the results and the efficiency which can come with it.
Interesting thoughts. Thank you so much. It's been really great to talk to you as always. I've really enjoyed our chat. Thank you for being so generous with your time, and best of luck for an amazing summer. You deserve it.
Okay. Thank you for the interview. Thank you.
Thank you. Always lovely to speak with Mr. Gauss, and fantastic to hear some bits about what airBaltic is planning for the rest of the year. I can't wait personally to get my hands on my first planey, so let's hope they get some really cool designs released very soon. Thanks very much for joining us for this interview today. You can access more amazing Simple Flying content on our channel. Please do like and subscribe. We also have a long haul video channel, so if you like more in-depth video content, please do visit that site. And of course, check out the website simpleflying.com for all your aviation news. Thanks very much.